Hello everyone, it's your favorite weather guy here, and today we're looking ahead. The date is July 25th, 2025, and summer is in full swing. But soon, the leaves will start to change color. The air will feel a little crisper in the morning. That's right, autumn is just around the corner. Knowing what to expect from the weather can help us plan. Will you need your warm coat early? Should you get your umbrella ready? Thinking about the fall forecast helps us prepare for everything, from weekend plans to staying safe during changing weather. It's like getting a little hint about what Mother Nature has in store for us. So, let's talk about what the fall of 2025 might look like across the United States and our good neighbors in Canada. Every season brings its own unique weather story. This year, the story is very interesting. We are seeing signs that some places will be warmer than usual. Other places might get a bit chilly sooner than they normally do. This isn't just a guess. We look at big patterns in the ocean and the air. These patterns give us clues about the weather for the months of September, October, and November. So grab your pumpkin spice latte, get comfortable, and let's dive into the forecast together. One of the biggest players in our weather story this year is a pattern called La Niña. You might have heard this name before. Think of it as a big weather engine in the Pacific Ocean. When the water in a certain part of the ocean gets cooler than normal, it changes the air patterns all over the world. This fall, we are expecting a week to moderate La Niña. This means its effects won't be extremely strong, but they will definitely guide our weather. It will influence where the rain falls and how warm or cool the temperatures will be. It's a key piece of the puzzle for understanding our autumn. Getting ready for fall is more than just buying new sweaters. It's about being informed. Knowing if your area might be drier or wetter than average can help farmers and gardeners. It can help you plan your vacation to see the fall colors. It can even help you know when to put your snow tires on your car. Our goal today is to give you a clear picture of what to expect. We want you to feel ready for the season ahead. So, let's get to the good stuff and break down the temperatures and the rain for you. This is what's on my radar for fall 2025. Let's start with the temperatures. What will it feel like outside? For our friends in the western United States, it looks like you'll be holding on to summer a little longer. We are predicting that states like California, Arizona, Nevada, and even up into Oregon and Washington will see temperatures that are warmer than normal. This means you might have more sunny, mild days well into October. Those outdoor plans, like hiking or visiting a park, might be perfect this fall. The warmer air will likely stick around, making the transition from summer to winter feel very slow and gradual for millions of people living in the West. Now let's travel north to Canada. The story there is quite different. For many parts of Canada, especially in the central and eastern regions like Ontario and Quebec, fall might feel a bit more like winter is knocking on the door early. We expect temperatures to be cooler than average. This could mean you'll be pulling out your heavier jackets and hats sooner than you did last year. The cool air from the north will have a stronger push southward, bringing a classic, crisp autumn feel. So if you love that chilly, bundle-up weather, you might be in for a real treat this season. What about the rest of the United States? For the Midwest and the Northeast, the temperature forecast is a bit of a mix. Early fall in September might still have some leftover summer warmth. But as we get into October and November, expect the temperatures to dip closer to normal, or even slightly below normal at times. The influence of the cooler Canadian air will try to press down into these areas. This could lead to a classic fall season with warm afternoons followed by chilly nights. You will definitely need to dress in layers if you live in places like Chicago, New York, or Boston. So to put it all together, we have a clear divide. Think of a line running across the continent. To the west of that line, things are staying warm. To the east and north of it, things are getting cool. This pattern is very typical of a La Niña fall. The jet stream, which is a river of air high above us, tends to buckle. This buckle allows warm air to stay in the west, and lets cold air from the Arctic slide down into Canada and parts of the eastern United States. It's a fascinating dance in the atmosphere that creates very different fall experiences for everyone. Now let's talk about precipitation. This means rain, and yes, even some early snow. Where will you need your umbrella or your snow shovel? For the northern United States, especially in the Pacific Northwest and the northern Rockies, get ready for a wetter-than-average season. This is good news for states like Washington and Oregon, which can be dry after the summer. The storm track is expected to be very active in this region. This means more frequent rain systems moving through, which will help the forests and fill up the rivers. This wet pattern could extend into the Great Lakes region as well. In contrast, the southern United States, particularly the Southwest, is looking very dry. States like Arizona, New Mexico, and Southern California are forecast to have below-average precipitation. This is not great news for an area that is already concerned about drought. The dry weather means more sunshine, which lines up with the warmer temperature forecast. However, it also means a higher risk for wildfires to continue into the fall months. It is very important for people in this region to be careful with anything that could start a fire. The lack of rain will be a big story for the Southwest this autumn. Moving over to the east, Canada is going to see a lot of action. Eastern Canada, including the Atlantic provinces like Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, is expected to be wetter than usual. The storm track that brings moisture to the northern United States will often continue eastward, bringing rain and gusty winds to this part of Canada. This could mean a stormy fall season for cities like Halifax and St. John's, so keep your rain gear handy. Meanwhile, the Canadian prairies like Alberta and Saskatchewan might be a bit closer to average, caught between the wet coast and the active east. What about early snow? With the colder than average temperatures predicted for parts of Canada, the chance for early season snowfall is higher. The Canadian Rockies could see significant snow as early as October. Even cities in Ontario and Quebec might see their first snowflakes a bit earlier than usual, perhaps in late November. In the United States, the highest peaks of the Rocky Mountains in states like Montana and Wyoming will likely see early snow. However, for most of the United States, significant snow will probably wait until winter officially begins. But don't be surprised by a few flurries in the coldest spots. We've mentioned La Niña a few times, so let's break it down. What is it really? Imagine the Pacific Ocean near the equator is like a giant bathtub. Sometimes the water on one side gets warmer, and that's called El Niño. But when the water in the eastern part of that ocean gets cooler than normal, we call it La Niña. This change in water temperature, even by a few degrees, is a very big deal. It changes the air pressure and the wind patterns above it. These changes create a ripple effect that can steer weather systems all across North America and the world. It's a natural cycle that happens every few years. This fall, we are in a weak to moderate La Niña phase. This means the ocean water is a little cooler than average, but not extremely cold. A weak La Niña still has a noticeable impact. It typically causes the jet stream, that river of air we talked about, to bend. It usually flows from west to east. During La Niña, it tends to bend northward over the Pacific Ocean and then dive southward over the middle of the continent. This is exactly why we see the weather patterns we are forecasting. It's the main reason for our entire fall outlook. This specific jet stream path explains our forecast perfectly. The big northward bend in the jet stream over the western part of North America allows a ridge of high pressure to build. This ridge acts like a shield, blocking storms and allowing warm air to sit over the western United States. That's why we expect warmer and drier conditions there. Then, as the jet stream dives south over the central and eastern parts of the continent, it creates a trough, or a dip. This trough allows cold air from Canada to spill south and makes the storm track more active, bringing wetter weather to the northern United States and eastern Canada. So, in summary, this fall of 2025 is a classic La Niña autumn. For people in the west, expect an extension of summer with warm and dry days. For those in the northern United States and eastern Canada, prepare for a wetter and stormier season. And for much of Canada and parts of the northeastern United States, get ready for an early taste of winter with cooler temperatures. La Niña is the director of our fall weather movie this year, and it's setting the stage for a season of contrasts across the continent. Knowing this helps us all get ready for what's next, and that's a look at your fall forecast.